Warning, in this episode of WeeaBoots, we're reviewing the Castlevania Netflix series. It is not anime. You definitely shouldn't call it anime. Seriously, dude, no, bad idea. Hello and welcome to WeeaBoots, the review podcast from Gigaboots.com. I'm your host, Dan Video Games, and with me is Bob.
Hey, guys.
And Zeon.
I like Castlevania.
And me and Bob are from Gigaboots, in case you didn't know, and Zeon's from Zeon.
We're definitely not reviewing anime.
This is not an anime.
I didn't say anime. You're the one who said
That's
anime.
true. I didn't.
No. All he's saying is not anime
Bob,
in case anyone gets mistaken.
There's
Bob's
no
a
anime
total weeaboo. He's got to make everything about anime.
I knew it.
Now, we're really less, I feel, of an anime review podcast. It's really more of a weeb shit review podcast at this point. Because, I mean, we did the live-action Ghost in the Shell movie.
And we did Spirits Within.
That was totally anime. Sakaguchi's name was all over that.
Yep.
That was totally anime, Bob.
As it turns out, all you have to be is anime. All you need to be in order to be anime is be written by a Japanese dude. That's all it takes. Or, as it turns out, apparently, be something that is based on something from Japan. My favorite comment, most recent one, was like, guys, can't we just call it American anime and get over the semantics? And I'm like, can't I just call it a cartoon and you an idiot?
I like that comment a lot. Yeah. Because, seriously, like, I really hate this goddamn bullshit that we keep doing where it's... Like,
guys. I am too woke for cartoons. It's gotta be anime.
Yeah, it's just the thing of like, you know,
it's like cartoons for adults.
Cartoons are for children. Anime is for grown-ups, and I'm a grown-up, so if I like it, clearly this is anime.
I mean, nothing is more mature than Lucky Star.
Yeah. I mean, Lucky Star is for pedophiles. You can't be a pedophile if you're also a child.
Oh. Whoa.
So it's anime.
Pretty woke.
You just explained a lot of anime, I feel.
Bam!
Incredible. Thanks for watching this episode of WeeaBoots. I guess we're here to talk about the Castlevania Netflix series.
Yes.
Which you probably knew from clicking the title of this video.
Some people just click this blind, though. They don't even worry about it. They just click everything that comes up on the our YouTube
you're
account.
Silly. You're implying people actually click WeeaBoots videos ever.
That's true. They click the others.
Statistically, it is shown that they do not click that unless Zeon makes a really slutty fucking thumbnail.
We need to get
You scum people.
So I need to go make some Sypha fan art for this and make that the thumbnail.
Just use some of Mr. Feel's fucking liked porn.
Right?
With it.
We have
Just
so
put
much
her
to
head on a giant titted anime girl. And I don't mean...
On brand.
Yes.
Oh man, I might just do that when I get home.
Do it. Wait, you mean for the thumbnail, right?
Yeah, for the thumbnail.
And nothing else.
Nothing else. I'm a professional.
Oh, okay.
We gotta keep this classy.
And a gentleman.
And I am the ultimate gentleman.
Oh.
Now, if you don't mind, I need to go shoot up an old girls' school. Because that's what ultimate gentlemen do.
It's okay, though, because he's a person of color.
Yeah.
Did I miss something?
Yes.
I'm lucky then.
Yes. You did it. Good job, Shinji. You fucking ascended. You understand life. I can't tell you how many tweets I've replied to Mr. Feel with, hey, I'm glad I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
So, Castlevania, the Netflix series.
Yeah, I noticed its soundtrack didn't have the 2 extra channels from Japan, so I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say, full disclosure here, we're all shameless Castlevania fanboys.
I'm not shameless at all. I hate Lords of Shadow.
Yeah, I feel like you can't...
To be shameless, you have to like
everything. Those are
everything.
Castlevania games, those are Lords of Shadow games.
As it turns out, with all of the Lords of Shadow games, you may not have noticed it, it actually says Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate. Or Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 of 2.
See, that title just sounds too stupid. I refuse to believe that game had Castlevania. Because, I mean, nothing about it looked like Castlevania or sounded like Castlevania. I mean, did you see a single Medusa head? That game could not have been Castlevania. I think you're just This is one of those like Berenstein Bear situations where you're just making up, like, you're in a dimension, you're from an alternate world where it said Castlevania. Here in this world, it was never Castlevania. It was just the Lords of Shadow.
Well,
games.
here's my irrefutable proof. In Castlevania Lords of Shadow 1, they did a remix of a Castlevania song, and it was Castlevania 4, and it went something like this. Goom, doom, goom, goom, goom. And I'm not even kidding. That is the one Castlevania song they chose to remix.
But Dan, like, that's just called plagiarism. It happens all the time in the video game world. Look at Earthbound. Like, it plagiarizes shit. Look at the Budokai games. Plagiarizes the shit out of music.
Yeah.
That's just what the video game industry does. It just steals music, and clearly they were just, like, they had some vampires and a guy with a whip, and they went, we're just going to steal this song and horribly bastardize to the point where it barely resembles its original form.
Originally, that game was
good. 2 did have Medusa. I mean, come on.
She was the girl from The Ring.
Yeah.
Thus showing the plagiarism point.
See, there you go. These Lords of Shadow games are not Castlevania games. They're just these weird hodgepodge plagiarist bullshit.
Welcome to episode 34 of WeeaBoots, where we just yell about Lords of Shadow.
Right?
It's like half of the videos on my channel. Please enjoy.
So yeah.
I miss good video games.
Me too, Dan. Me too.
Luckily, anime was never good, so.
Right? It's always just been a cesspit of, titties and lollies and robots.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. There are never character stories in anime ever. Never.
Yeah, no, which is why I'm really looking forward to Fooly Cooly 2 and 3.
No! I fucking threw something. Shut your fucking mouth. That's not this episode. You saved that shit for another goddamn episode. You're not gonna get me to talk about Lords of Shadow and fucking Fooly Cooly in one episode, you piece of shit.
Just kind of flipping all the switches, hitting all the buttons.
You're a bastard. You're a crap bastard. You know that? You're a bastard made of crap. But yeah, as it turns out, they made a Netflix series, 4 episodes long, out of Castlevania. Warren Ellis wrote it, and it still retains a lot of the original script.
Yeah, I guess we should point out that we've known about this project for 8 years now?
I think it's been longer.
Potentially. We've known about it forever ago.
So when people got really excited over the rumor that something was happening with it in the last year and a half, I'm like, I'll get excited when it's done.
Right.
Because I was really surprised.
Or at least when they release a trailer.
Right.
Yeah, I was really surprised whenever they, Federator's actually going to be doing this Castlevania series. And then they're like, Warren Ellis is writing. I'm like, wait, whoa. Is this the same movie project from... And then, the goat fucker scene from that Warren Ellis...
the original screenplay.
Yeah, that Warren Ellis had mentioned from the original screenplay back when this was a movie was in this series. I was like, oh my god, this is just his fucking movie script now in TV series form or Netflix series form.
Yeah. Luckily, it was greenlit for 8 more episodes as soon as it finished. So thank God.
Yeah, I feel like he probably wrote a trilogy of films, probably because
this really feels like a film.
Yeah,
just
no way.
Yeah, and there's such abrupt, especially you can tell because it's there's these abrupt cutoff points in the episodes, where it's that didn't feel like a proper ending to an episode. It just ended.
Honestly, good. You have Netflix. You can keep watching. I don't need an episode to have closure. That'll really just take away from the pacing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then it'll be, we need to make this episode about something.
But then it kind of just feels like a taste of it. I was making the joke of, the first day after it came out, it doesn't even feel like a Netflix series because it just ends. You don't just binge through an entire story. It just is over.
Yes. I mean, it did end on kind of a cliffhanger point. A very specific, this is clearly the cliffhanger to get you invested and make you want to see more.
Yeah.
So it isn't just an abrupt, kind of like how episode 1 ends with Trevor in the bar and he goes, "Ah, shit," and then it just ends. It wasn't that kind of weird. Yeah.
That was great. I don't know, Warren Ellis needs to be taken out for beers.
Right?
The fucking Trevor Belmont introduced and episode ends with the line, "Oh shit." It's good.
But yeah,
Knew exactly
yeah,
what he was doing.
I do like, you know, kind of appreciate how, you know, like, you know, they did build it up to a cliffhanger. They probably are going to end it with these next 8 episodes, which, like I said, it's probably like, you know, Ellis probably set this up to be a trilogy of direct-to-DVD movies, each about an hour and 20 minutes long, roughly.
Yeah.
Which would make sense, because that's kind of how, like, the DC animated films work, usually.
Right. So they've been... one of the things, and I mentioned this in my review, I already did a review, this is a different sort of thing. One of the things I like about this is that there is fan service in that there's cool shit. And as a fan, you are even more attuned to what is cool about that shit. But it's not like, hey... Who let... Yeah, right? Fucking... Hey, Bronner and Olrox! And then they're throwaway characters.
Yeah.
It's not Lords of Shadow. Fucking Lords of Shadow. I also like that it's a better origin story than Castlevania ever got, because it knows anything about storytelling, unlike Lament of Innocence and Lords of Shadow, which are both the shittest shit at fucking telling an origin story.
It still, like, doesn't really give you an origin for the Belmont and
The Belmont
Dracula
bloodline
rivalries, or like we don't.
Maybe
this kind of feels like the second time Dracula comes up.
I feel like every Castlevania has felt like that. I feel like even the original, like, yeah.
I mean, there wasn't really any story to the original one, so I can't say, like...
I mean, it was in the instruction manual. Didn't you read the instruction manual?
I didn't read the instruction manual.
Well, then you're not a real fan. You're not a real fan. I didn't like this! That makes me a real fan! Don't go to Castlevania Dungeon.
What are you talking? I mean, I think the people in Castlevania Dungeon really had a lot of great points, and
like, for example, her name is Belnades, so it's not Bettermondo, so they shouldn't make her Hispanic. That's ruining the character.
Yeah, like, I mean, and plus, I mean, her Hispanic accent was clearly fake.
Even though she's clearly Hispanic.
From Portugal.
Yes.
But besides the fact that she's from Portugal, her accent's completely fake.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds completely inauthentic.
I can tell because I fucking play video games.
All of the British actors, their accents have felt forced and fake as well.
Yeah, no, this is all...
Really?
Castlevania Dungeon is fucking
guys
cesspool.
who from Britain have fake British accents.
Well, yeah, I mean, because us Americans understand what the British sound like way better than these faggy Brits, Bob.
Warren Ellis isn't British or anything, Bob. Fucking, but yeah, no, Castlevania Dungeon has been host to a number of shitty opinions over the year, not the least of which is Lords of Shadow is great, finally someone knows what they're doing with Castlevania, Portrait Room is bad, and these accents are all fake and gay.
Also, don't forget...
None of these things are true, by the way.
Don't forget, though, you know, like, this series is just too violent. It's just way... it tries too hard to be violent. I mean, a series about vampires and, you know, like,
a series of games
that
like, everyone explodes in blood after you kill them.
Yeah, and, you know, but I feel like even though that, you know, your character explodes into a pool of blood whenever they die, you know, this series went just too far with that, because now it's animated and now it's in more detail and it just makes it feel more visceral, and it's just like it's just edgy, Bob. It's just too edgy.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it's not like these things were based on horror movies or anything. Right?
No, not at all.
It's not like Castlevania 3 Dracula's transformation is into 4 screaming golem mouths that puke blood that's acidic as it flies all over the room, and when you whip it to death, it explodes into bones and shit. No.
Yeah, not at all.
I want Captain N.
Oh shit, that was a deep cut.
Why, hello there, Sifa. Let us go defeat Dracula.
But yeah, no, it seems like Castlevania fans have had, like, because I can understand, like, if you go into the show and you're like, it really isn't my thing, that's fine. But to say this is a bad show, I feel is just a factually incorrect opinion. Because like,
no. You forgot the best one. You forgot the best one.
Oh, no.
Clearly they're trying to paint the church as the bad guys, which is
Well, yeah.
ridiculous murder of character.
Yeah,
Because the church in the 1700s were fucking saints.
Wait, wasn't it the 1400s?
1400s.
Yeah,
whatever.
so even worse.
Fucking saints.
yeah, I mean, the puritanical age was a wholesome time. That's why it's called puritanical, because they were so pure and innocent.
Exactly. Exactly.
The church was great. I mean, the witch trials, that was justified.
Oh, yeah.
It needed to be done because witches were bad and the emissaries of Satan, and fuck women for even trying to usurp a man's power in the patriarchy.
Correct.
Those dumb cunts.
Yeah, exactly. Am I right? Gamergate. So yeah, Castlevania Dungeon has been a host to a number of terrible.
Also, don't forget,
I like
Trevor was horribly mischaracterized in this series from how he's portrayed in the games. His amazing character from the original NES game was just not properly represented by depicting him as this kind of disenfranchised lush.
Also, it's really edgelordian that they made him an excommunicated person.
Because that wasn't in the original game at all.
No, that wasn't in there at all.
They weren't a despised family because of their demon hunting escapades or anything. That was never in the original instruction manuals.
Nope.
They could at least go be like, it's not how he was in Curse of Darkness, because at least then he was a person.
Yeah, because but the thing is though, even if you want to make that comparison, that's like a 3-year gap.
Yeah, I know.
So there's plenty of time for him to go from alcoholic to married to Sypha family man who's kind of gotten back into the swing of things.
Who's a human tornado.
Yeah. God,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you consider what an origin story means as a phrase when you hear origin story, I think this actually does a way better job than Lament of Innocence, even though it literally isn't the first instance in its own invented timeline. Because Lament is just like giant pile of text, narrator, implies huge, vast swaths of world building. It's not going to follow up on it ever. And then cuts to a forest, and some gay old man's like, come into my house. And Leon's like, with gratitude. And then he strips down.
And then Ronaldo's like, zip.
And then he's like, what is this?
It's a dick enchanted with alchemy.
It's an erection created with alchemy. Alchemy? What is that? And then Ronaldo explains what alchemy is while Leon gives him a BJ. If you don't know what Castlevania is, and you came here for a legitimate review, I'm sorry. It's been 15 minutes so far of us making fun of people on Castlevania Dungeon and in my comments section.
Yeah,
but,
I would say that
whatever. This is the new format.
Lament isn't a good origin story.
One might say it's a bad one.
It's terrible, but at the same time, it's completely amazing because it's so bad and has
it's so ridiculous.
This thought that this is how a thing should be done.
Yeah, it's like someone who's never written before,
right?
Goes to write the origin story for a series that's pre-existing. Well, you gotta have Dracula. What if you think Dracula's this guy, and then it's this other guy?
So wait,
what the fuck?
There's just other vampires that are just as good as Dracula going around? Is that okay?
Are you gonna follow up with that ever? It's gonna happen in Portrait, but
So yeah, I have to say, this series was surprisingly good. Getting this back on track for being
unlike Orders of Shadow, which is a terrible phone game.
Yes.
It's a much better origin than Castlevania Legends,
If you look up Castlevania Order of Shadows on YouTube, you will see we have basically the only well-performing video of it because we have the only good-looking video of it.
Yeah.
That thing's horrifying.
So for people who don't have context into the Castlevania franchise...
Allow me to explain. So Castlevania 1 came out on the NES in 1985. Now, it follows Simon Belmont.
God damn it.
I'm just going to run through all 36. Here we go.
All right, so... Castlevania has been dead now for 9 years.
Castlevania 2 on the Tiger Electronics handheld gaming system was a surprisingly good game. You can throw a dagger, you can throw holy water, and you can whip. Now, what's important is that each time you push the move button, you move one square. So you're pushing that a lot. My copy, the right button broke. So I kind of just waded my way through it. Because Belmont will walk of his own accord, because he's a Belmont. But, he moves really slowly, so I had to get really patient to keep playing.
So it was like the Game Boy game.
Yes, it was. Oh my god, it was a lot like Adventure. Yes. So I'm gonna read from my own review. I wish I had the script. That'd be hilarious. I just crib off my own script. You know what I really liked? Page turning sound. I like the fact that there is a three-way war between Dracula and the people who are going to defeat him and the church. There's a nice three-way conflict there. And I feel like the demon world building done with just... Oh, man, that one demon that talks to the priest has a name. I already forgot it, but... Yeah, that was awesome. That was a great fucking scene. And I'm like, I love you, show.
Yeah, I feel like we need a lot more of that.
That was such a great fight. By the way, we're going to spoil the shit out of this entire series, probably.
Yeah, because it's 4 episodes, and that's our format, bitches.
I love how this show is perfectly, like,
it's WeeaBoots.
Yeah.
We have to do a WeeaBoots.
Like, I mean, the series was good enough to I actually watched it twice. And it was totally worth that second watch through. It was great.
Let me tell you, I got to see it on Steve's new 65-inch OLED 4K TV.
Jesus Christ.
It's so beautiful.
Aggro was telling me about that thing.
Dude, anime looks the best. Because, like, the color.
Right.
So, we're opening a Patreon for WeeaBoots. We find it really hard to review anime without seeing it on OLED. So, you guys need to... We're starving artists here.
Not having no OLED TV, it's just so tragic.
It's tragic. I don't even want to live anymore.
This is totally off topic, Dan, but is there a smaller size of that TV Steve got?
There is a 55-inch, and it costs almost $1,000 less.
Okay.
Awesome.
I was just checking.
So it's still thousands.
Right. It's still like 2,500 or something.
Yes,
okay.
Correct. Because what I found with that size, there is... Like, and I need to do more experimentation to be sure, but I feel like it's so big, you need to sit far away to see all of it, but then you're sitting far away, and if your eyesight isn't really good, you can't make out all of the pixels.
Right? It's like it's a catch-22. It's awful.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry, Jay. What
is the secret of Castlevania?
I don't even know what the hell I was going to go on.
He was going to talk about the series and its soundtrack and how its audio mixing is great, right, Jay?
Yeah, that is like the two things that are lacking, and like the audio mix
isn't even there. One might say.
Yeah, like a lot of the dialogue is
it's all just sitting there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's all on the table.
Yeah, some of the dialogue is a little too quiet. You can't really make out what characters are saying. Sometimes I had subtitles on the whole time, so it wasn't an issue. But
and
still.
I hooked up a dedicated DAC amp to my Sennheiser 598s, which is a $200 pair of headphones, and I can't understand what Belmont is saying and what Dracula said in one scene, and I'm like, this is fucking insane, you guys.
Right.
Like, what? Some music producer out there's watching this in his studio, and he's like, sounds great.
Yeah, the soundtrack also, Castlevania is really, really well known for its soundtrack.
Yes.
And the fact that this doesn't have anything that even remotely sounds like classic Castlevania music, that's like the one thing that's really missing. I would love to see someone do like some rock remixes or just orchestral remixes of classic Castlevania themes and plug them, like, just, put it into this series and just hear what that sounds like.
Yeah, the composer for this did a lot of, like, really... Hey guys, I'm Dan, I have opinions. A lot of shitty fucking soundtracks, like Dragon Age Inquisition. Yeah. And
so
this horror movie, and that horror movie... And not like good horror movies, not artful horror movies, more like
Ouija.
Yeah. So it's very typical C-grade Hollywood orchestration sort of sound, and it's sad because you can hear when it switches into this part is inspired by Inception. This part is inspired by Tron Legacy. I was listening to the soundtrack the whole time, and I'm like, yep. See, whereas like the composer for Housemarque, he has a twist on these things. He has a way to meld it together into a beautiful new creation, his compositions. This guy just sounds like, this is like when you watch those trailers and it's a song that's made to sound exactly like the Inception theme. It's like that the whole way through, and I'm like...
See, and like you noticed that much. Yeah. I like the music... I can't recall what any of the music sounded like at all in this. And it was just really... That shouldn't be the case. Like, it's the same issue that I was talking about, like, like Lords of Shadow, which was not a Castlevania game, but it did have a lot of similarities to Castlevania, I have to admit. And with those, like its music was just nowhere on par because it just kind of went for the classic, generic, bombastic orchestral score. Like, look, we're epic fantasy movie score that just kind of bleeds to the background and never really stands out.
Yeah, and it like at some points it actually does more harm than good, really, because one moment. Whoa. Okay. Sorry about that. In any case, at some parts it does more harm than good, because like it'll try to make like a scene that's balancing the violent nature with the darker, larger context with the humor, and it'll just swing hard for humor. It'll be like, he's in the bar fight, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? And I'm like, this is class warfare, you idiots.
Yeah, those scenes were probably the worst.
Yeah, so by the time it gets to the major conflict against the village, where the church turns... sorry, one sec. Fucking... There we go. Okay. You hit a point where like the soundtrack starts to be a little bit better, but it's still not outstanding in any way whatsoever.
Yeah, it always felt like just that generic, like music, like Zeon was talking about, was where it just fades in the background. Like I feel like I've heard this in various fantasy RPGs that are just bad. Yeah, and then hearing that he did Dragon Age, was like, of course he did.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it kind of makes me think back to like the Thundercats cartoon, because I mentioned this before. Like the reboot did that whole high fantasy epic orchestral pieces that just don't stick with you at all, and they pale in comparison to the more synthy electronic tunes from the original Thundercats series.
Yeah,
it's like those themes are so memorable, and they pop, and they really stand out, and they really capture a moment. And with and like that's how Castlevania music is. Like the classic Castlevania themes, like Castlevania is really known for its music, and here the mere fact that you can't remember what the music in Castlevania, like the animated series, sounds like is a fucking travesty.
He did the music for Gotham.
Oh, wow.
Immortals. Stolen. The Hills Have Eyes 2. The Lost Angel. Hunger.
But yeah, I feel like it doesn't even need like straight up remixes. If they just captured some of the style, like some of the more rock oriented things or jazz oriented things that Castlevania is known for, that would really help.
If we could have had the Persona 5 soundtrack, I would have been signing off 10 out of 10 soundtrack of the year.
Yeah.
Because something about juxtaposed rock disco in Castlevania would have been like, it doesn't make sense, but I love it.
Right? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it would work fairly well, oddly enough. Yeah.
Need for Speed Carbon. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2.
That motherfucker
Dragon Age Inquisition.
He did the soundtrack to Iron Fist. Jesus Christ, like that show, everything in that show was terrible, including its music.
Yeah, I actually have seen enough Iron Fist to be
just
like,
has him on tap.
hey, bitch. And he's just like, because he sleeps in a closet.
Yes.
They're like, get your Korg. We have some more music that needs to be churned out. But yeah, no, his music in Iron Fist was the same thing. First episode of Iron Fist, when the guy's going into the building and he's like, let me talk to the owners. And he doesn't say, I'm a long lost brother of the owners. Let them know that I'm here. They'll understand the impact. No, he goes, let me talk to the owners. This'll work. And then the music's like, and I'm like, this isn't that funny. And you trying to make it funnier is making it dumber. And I hate you. And then he shows up for Castlevania. And then he's like, listen here, Bamwell. We're gonna bust up your teeth. And I'm like, no. It was bad.
Yeah, like in that tune is just generic.
Stolen from Ocarina of Time, yes. For anyone who was curious. Yeah. But yeah, no. It was yeah. And all of his music is that. It's like C-grade Hollywood movie imposter. He's like, I could be a Hans Zimmer. And I'm like, no, you could not.
So, okay. That aside, we know the music is really, really, really generic and lacking and a huge disappointment.
But then eventually, when he gets to the scene when there are a bunch of archers and shit, and he's dealing with a lot of the church while also avoiding the mobs, it actually starts being good. Coincidentally, this is a part where it starts kind of riffing off of Tron Legacy.
I remember that there was something that sounded a little Tron Legacy.
Because it's like...
Because it sounds so different from the rest of the score. Yeah, you're right.
I don't remember that. I need to watch that again.
Yeah.
I've only watched this once.
I'm like, why aren't you like this most of the time? No, it doesn't fit perfectly, but God, it's better than ding, 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 ding.
Well, just that, or just the generic kind of atmospheric score shit it was going for.
Oh, yeah, no, I only noticed the music about 6 times, and I was listening on these headphones and trying to pay attention, you know?
Right.
But yeah, like, it's kind of funny, because those 2 scenes are, like, the only scenes I can even recall the soundtrack. And, yeah, because, like, there was that scene where, like it got all kind of Tron-esque, and I was just like, dude, rockin', awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it never came back, and that was the only time that happened. Fuck.
Basically. Oh, man.
Like, where was that shit during the fucking Alucard fight?
He also did a film in 2013 called Dracula.
Oh, no. Because Dracula movies are always good.
The Scorpion King 3 Battle for Redemption.
Yes, we get it. This guy is terrible.
I guess Dracula was a TV series. Sorry about that, everyone. He also did Vikings. Kill me. Oh, man, yeah. If we could swap out composers in time for next season, Netflix, that would be fucking 10 out of 10.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because, man, I hate this guy's work. Like, I hate the music in Vikings. I hate the music in Iron Fist. And I've barely watched either of those shows. And I made note of how much I don't like the music. That is impressive.
Right? You've probably seen, like, one episode of each.
It's not like I'm getting fucking high or doing acid while watching these shows, not paying attention to what's going on screen and just listening to the music. I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on screen and go, man, this music's really bad. And it's really annoying. It's like a lot of the... Never mind, I'm not...
Anyhow, so...
It's like bad writing. Music edition.
Yeah. So, one thing I really like about the show is that it is such a love letter to Castlevania fans. Like you could tell, like, apparently, like, Warren Ellis, from what I understand, knew nothing about Castlevania going into this project. Mm-hmm. And I guess did a shit ton of homework because he wrote like a really good Castlevania. So he didn't just like completely go off the rails and just start making up his own bullshit.
He didn't pull a Mercury Steam?
Yeah, no.
Which is technically Konami's fault, but whatever.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like, he went into like the Castlevania lore, took all like the core components, but then remixed a few elements, added some elements, made Sypha, instead of being a member of the church, made her like a member of some like a third faction.
The Speakers.
Yeah, and it actually kind of works a little bit better because if she's like, a member of the church, she's gonna like, they wouldn't have a fucking magician.
Right, she has arcane arts.
Yeah, like there's no way in hell that they would ever have a female magician
but that means it's not faithful to the game and I don't like it.
Yeah. So like, just in terms of like, for the sake of the narrative, that works a lot better than having her be a member of the church, so I like that.
Yep.
I like how they kind of, just show Trevor being like this kind of alcoholic. He's just, clearly his life has kind of been garbage for a while. He's just kind of lay low and just be left alone. And he's just so fucking done with shit.
He's so jaded 1%er, man. Tony Stark is really appreciable in this movie.
But yeah, I like how they portray Trevor. I love Dracula. Like, they took like the origin story from Symphony of the Night and just expanded on it. Like, for the first time, I actually gave a shit about Dracula's story.
In a way, and acted it out in a way where any of the characters are relatable or likable. Whereas before it was like, well met, my son! And it's just like, I bet you miss your wife. It was really hard to see that through that performance.
Right. No, that wasn't supposed to be there, I don't think, because that was another like 100 years later or so. He got over it.
Let's talk about a controversial thing. Some people are like, Dracula is too calm with the relations. He's like, you have 1 year to leave.
I feel like that was
and then we just find out later that, no, it takes me a year to summon this army, guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Later as in a minute later.
Yeah, like almost immediately find out, oh yeah, this just takes some time.
And
hey, you give him a right start, because he knows the church isn't going to run.
Yeah. Whereas the normal people, he's sort of, in a way, letting them escape because as the last favor to his dead wife.
Yeah, because that's clearly in memory of her and everything that she represented before he just goes on his blade. And I love that fucking thing. It's like, I gave you a year to get the fuck out, and instead you celebrate you murdering my wife.
Well, see, you know what I love more than that? He explodes out of fire as a giant head, And he's like, which one of you dead motherfuckers killed my wife? And they're like, you're not real. And he's like, excuse me?
I love it's just like it's like you kill my wife and then
say I'm not real. I'm gonna blow your house up. Do you understand that, boy?
God, and just like fucking was it Lisa? Yeah, like whenever she's like on the fire, just like don't harm them. They don't know what they're doing. It's just like even like her last words are defending these atrocious fucking monsters. And also like talk about like you brought like some people like, oh, this really villainizes the church and Christianity or whatever. And I don't think it like it doesn't really villainize them or like Christianity specifically, but it does villainize the like how it was perceived by the church.
Well, I mean, it villainizes the power structure and the figureheads, which is incredibly apt to do.
Yeah, and
given the time period.
Yeah,
right?
And I do love like whenever like the demon like appears in the church. It's just like God is like God doesn't love you. Yeah. He's not going to have like pretty much implying like
he knows this is your fault and he is not here right now because of you.
Yeah,
but I love you,
right? And I fucking love how they do that too because it does imply like in this universe, no, like God exists. I
mean,
like
Holy Wire still works on these demons. There areas that literally
you had that one good priest who actually who wasn't a scumbag and did his godly duties. But then you have like that one guy who's like really corrupting the religion, and like the demons, they're just like, yeah, no, we can enter this church because this is not holy land. This isn't holy ground. So fuck you, bro. I loved it. It was good shit. I loved it.
See, I'm really sad that Zeon hasn't read this absolutely insane comment.
Oh no.
There was one on here that was a completely different one, kind of funny, where some guy was like, this is nowhere near as good as
Wait, bitch, did you just say Lament was a good game in there?
I don't...
No, there it is. But Lament was great. It's a good game, but the writing is bad. No.
I'm not saying it's a great game. I'm saying it's like a good game.
All right.
I'm not saying it's a classic. I'm saying it's a good game.
It's a functional game.
There are many enjoyable aspects to Lament of Innocence.
I'm trying to
like the writing.
Like going off about
yes.
If we're going to combine it or
no, the writing is enjoyable. It is also bad.
Yes. Yeah. Like most of that game.
Okay.
What were you gonna say, Bob?
I was just gonna say Lament. Like if we compare it to action games of the time, it wasn't the bottom of the pile.
Not even close.
No. Yeah.
Hell shit, it's not even the bottom of the pile now.
Right.
Like I mean, there are action games that came out like in the last 3 years that I put way below Lament of Innocence because we don't know how to do hit detection in the West.
Yep.
Or invincibility frames when you dodge.
Lords of the Fallen was great.
See, I was thinking of Lords of Shadow, but what does Lords of the Fallen?
Like Dark Souls knockoff.
Imagine Dark Souls, but it's not named Dark Souls.
So Crash Bandicoot.
Yes. You fuck. Yeah, somebody left this giant comment. Huge, as you can see, right? Let me boil this comment down for you, Zeon, and you can read it later because we don't have the time now. He pops out with words like pathos, ethos, and logos.
Logos, yeah.
Shit like that, right? What he's just trying to say is, I think the series is playing coy about whether or not God exists. I personally think it exists. And that's it. That's... YouTube commenters, man.
Yeah. Look, he had his own review. He didn't know where to put it. He put it on YouTube
review. Meanwhile, this other guy, I just finished watching this series, and it absolutely sucked. It was inexcusably bad. The first episode just reveals Dracula at the very get-go, and he's all nice and humane. That breaks just about every rule in storytelling as far as trying to build suspense, mood, and mystique, which is what a Castlevania anime should be built on. When Netflix can put out an anime the caliber of Knights of Sidonia, which he misspelled, and then they throw this half-ass shit at us, it leaves me totally disappointed. A Castlevania anime should be an easy home run. What a waste. This review was garbage, insincere, and dishonest.
Wow, that guy can suck my cock.
Yeah, no, that guy's impressively stupid. We went back and forth for a while.
Yeah, I can see like all
the shit he says is...
Because... Like saying that, it's not your, like I said, saying that it's not your thing, saying that's inexcusably bad, like, oh my god, how could they humanize the villain? Wow. Like, the thing is, though, it's not like,
so they want to have characters or something.
It's
weird.
Almost like you're supposed to relate to him, and he's supposed to be a believable character. What? Nah.
Not in my anime.
Not in my Castlevania anime which is so woke as to be about the reveal of Dracula? The fuck is that shit?
Right? It's just,
Let me tell you about good storytelling. You should play coy the whole time and reveal Dracula at the end. They did that! It's called Mirror of Fate, you fucking idiot! And it sucks!
yeah. There you go.
You'll never figure out who Alucard is. He's fucking Trevor! Fuck you! God. Dick!
What a terrible fucking
wasn't he
game that
Simon?
was.
No, it's Trevor because Trevor is Simon's father.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because 3 is the oldest in the series.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, 3. Well,
Man.
before Sonia Belmont and fucking Leon
Weird.
showed up.
Yeah, like
3's the oldest,
Trevor
and
was
Simon's the second.
Yeah, Trevor was the first Belmont to actually fight Dracula.
Yes.
Leon never did. And there were no Belmonts
That's
in
true.
between
That's
those 2
also
points that never fought Dracula.
Yep. So,
All right.
So Trevor was Alucard, which was super obvious.
yeah,
And they made you wait, what, 5?
I just couldn't
6
remember the names of each character
6
because they're the
hours?
2.
6 hours of that game. They're like, they'll never figure out who Alucard
Yeah, they
is.
really give it away like really early
Immediately.
on.
Immediately, yeah.
Because you play one of their stories and then the other of their stories, right?
Right.
Ah! What were they thinking?
Okay,
They
so-
weren't. They were Mercury Steam. They never think.
Looking forward to Metroid, where Nintendo has to keep slapping them on the wrist and say, no, what are you doing?
Okay, so do you guys know anything about the director of this? Have you guys looked them up at all yet?
No.
Is it, what's his name?
Adi Shankar.
Yeah, I looked him up.
Okay, do you guys?
You can talk about it, though.
Okay, so this man, he's best known for directing Dredd, as
Yep.
in the
okay.
the
yeah,
Judge Dredd reboot.
I did hear about that.
Yeah, so he directed Dredd. He's also known for his quote bootleg universe, where he just makes a bunch of high budgeted fan films. This
Yep.
guy, he did the Power / Rangers dark gritty reboot thing.
Yeah.
And like this guy, he is like the ultimate edgelord director. And like when he does something like Dredd,
is.
and when he does something like Castlevania, his super violent like aesthetics really like play in favor to the material. So that's like, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
The thing is though, I'm really worried about other projects he's trying to get off the ground because
Like
like,
Assassin's Creed?
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, he's the because he's the executive producer technically on Castlevania, but he's also a director. But
Oh.
he's also the executive producer on Assassin's Creed, which he's now moved on to as a project. So.
Great.
I heard something about the director or someone involved in this said the Metroid would be next.
I don't know.
Something
maybe.
about
It was
that.
probably him, to be honest.
Okay, so my only thing though is like I'm a little worried about some of the other projects that he wants to, because the Power / Rangers thing, when everyone had like the reaction like, dude, like, because some people were like, dude, this is the Power Rangers I've always wanted, and other people who are like, this completely spits in the face of everything that Power Rangers is. He goes on to tell us like, oh well, no, see, it's a parody of like the dark gritty reboots that we get. And I'm using Power Rangers, the most squeaky clean, fun thing possible, as like a vehicle to tell this parody,
Right.
to make this satire of it. And later on, though, last year, he announced that he wants to do an R-rated Power Rangers animated series for Netflix.
Yeah.
And then after that, said he wanted to do an R-rated Mega Man animated series for Netflix.
Dude, fucking do it with Mega Man. You can't hurt it.
Right. I'm like, if they do X, then that is just fully appropriate.
Yeah,
Yes.
but thing is, like, if they do X, that'd be fucking baller as shit.
Which is
especially
why I
with,
like that Metroid Prime looking game that was going to be X. That was also kind of edgy. Was like, perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The
Thing
X
is-
universe is the thing to do that in. If you did it with Legends, I would hate you to the end of the earth.
Thing is, though, I think he was just talking about traditional Mega Man. So
Probably. I don't
yeah,
know.
so
Right.
like I don't know how to feel about this guy and
Oh,
his
he's
project.
full of shit.
Yeah,
let me explain.
Yeah.
All of his fucking movies are edgelord. When he says,
Oh, yeah.
oh no, it's satire. That's
Yeah,
like
no.
fine. No, Halcyon, let me explain. The quick play for Life of Pixel that said it was a review, but was clearly a quick play, was satire of videos on YouTube that say they're reviews but aren't edited.
I mean, his whole style could be satire. Like, he could just know that that's what he's good at
Yeah.
and find it hilarious that he's good at it.
But yeah, like I feel like he's a perfect match for this, but like I can't tell if he's actually a good director or not, because this was really good and Dredd is fucking amazing.
So I'm going to give director credit on this to Sam Dietz, who's one of the other directors, and also to Fred Siebert from Frederator, creator of many, many great things you never knew you should thank him for. Like you can thank him for Dexter and Powerpuff Girls and all that shit, because he's the one who did Cartoon.
Nice.
And, oh yeah, cartoons. So you owe at least 7 of your childhood cartoons to this man.
Right.
And he's like, here's your good Castlevania. And I'm like, you came. You came for me.
Now, if only he could rescue Powerpuff Girls in Dexter's lab.
Nope, I gave up on them, just like Mega Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're dead. They're super dead.
Super fucking... God, that fucking Powerpuff Girls writer writing himself in. Oh, man.
That's so crazy. That's the cringiest bullshit ever.
So when people go, look, if they make a new thing, it's not going to ruin the original. No, actually, every time I think about Powerpuff Girls now, I think about that guy's himself in the new show, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, no, that's...
Grossing it up all over the place.
It dirties it. Like,
oh, Blossom's like, so in love with me in this episode. And no one had said, stop it, you fucking creep.
I'm sure FLCL won't be anything like that.
God! What the... Ah!
Now, do you mean FLCL 2 or 3?
Let's just leave it there and not even think about it anymore.
I hate you both so much.
Because soon the FLCL expanded universe will be longer than the original thing.
Now the best,
and that makes me really angry, but let's move on.
It should make you immensely angry. The best thing about that is, you guys know I'm not some weirdo who holds the FLCL on some fucking pedestal. Like, I don't sit there and be like, Fooly Cooly is one of the most classic animes of all time, and if you haven't seen it, you're not a real anime enthusiast. Like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
But the moment you say, remember Fooly Cooly, we're just gonna make more, I get angry. I'm just like, you missed the fucking point.
Okay.
What about Drive 2? Go fuck yourself!
There you go, yeah. Okay, now, I need to ask our audience something. If we did a Fooly Cooly WeeaBoots, would you fuckers actually watch it?
You gotta promise. And we will delete our channels if not enough of you watch these things.
They won't watch it. Don't even ask them. They will lie to us.
Our channel's on the line.
All future WeeaBoots, like, I mean, if we don't have channels...
we're just deleting all of it.
Whole thing.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there won't even be, like, channels for us to upload future WeeaBoots on, because WeeaBoots will be dead, everything will be dead.
We're gonna become Instagram stars. Fuck y'all.
So, aesthetics, the animation, how'd you guys feel about those?
It needed more budget.
Yeah.
It very much needed that. I think they made a good use of the budget they had. They saved money when they could, and they used it well in most scenes. I feel like that last fight needed more budget, but it used it pretty well in a few shots.
I was gonna say,
there are certain shots where it's a lot of recycled animation, like they'd loop an animation 4 times in a row to draw out that angle. And it's like, oh man, they need more than 4 frames in that.
Yeah, it was a little weak at times, but oh man, I feel like that Alucard fart's probably one of the best farts.
The scent of my butt will send your soul searching for an eternity.
All eternity.
No! So about the fart scenes, Bob.
Yes.
What was your favorite fart scene?
I feel like that was probably one of the best animated fight scenes I've seen in a Western animated thing. Like,
it was really good.
I can't agree with that only because I've seen both Legend of Korra and Young Justice, and those get pretty fucking crazy at times.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Young Justice. Nothing has impressed me as much as that did, but like I said, I haven't seen all of it. And then the Cyclops fight.
Yeah, the Cyclops fight was really fucking good.
Mainly just how well they did that laser.
Yeah, like the laser looked fucking rad. I feel like this like the shot composition, the choreography, they do really cool shit. Like one of my favorite scenes is when like Alucard like flips up in the air and like Trevor throws his whip out, and Alucard dodges it, and then Trevor like slides his hand up his whip
to pivot it.
Yeah, to pivot the direction of the whip, and it just snaps and like hits him off to the side. I'm like,
it's like that where they think about it.
Yeah, it's like it really understood like the space that they were fighting in, and really just it gave you a good sense of everything that was going on. At no point did I ever feel confused. At no point did I just feel like, oh, these characters are just swinging their weapons around, and look how cool it is. No, like it actually felt like a fight between like 2 super-powered dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, and like visually, the design is really good, and as you guys just mentioned, the fights are really well designed as well. So like, yeah, I think the visuals on this are really, really good. It just needs more budget for sure.
I love the character designs, like the way Sypha looks. I think, you know, I'm like, yes, you know, because they even got like the whole thing of like, oh, you're a girl, you know, which alludes back to the original game where you don't learn that until like the very end. You know, like her cloak looks great. Yeah, she looks.
I think
great.
in America they made it a dude
on accident or something.
Yeah, because they use the pronoun he. Take him along with you.
Yeah, but I thought that was supposed to be like a kind of like a Metroid-y thing where you don't learn that Sypha is a female until the very end.
I don't think so. Let me look up the ending shot of Castlevania 3.
Okay.
Just because.
But you even introduced her being in stone, which I was like, man, that's really good fan service.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah, like she's actually like a statue, like she's supposed to. Like they had to have the boss fight and you freeze her from it. It was like they really nailed that.
That's what Alucard it looks like.
Well, I mean,
Sypha got really purple.
Yeah. Also, now that I'm seeing this, I'll bring that up in just a moment. But yeah, I love how
what they're having a bro moment. Trevor's hugging his bro,
his flowy blonde-haired bro. That's
what have you not seen Eric Lukkash? That could be Eric. We don't even know.
Wait, that's clearly Alucard. I don't know what you're talking about.
With his flowing blonde locks and his effeminate frame, it's obviously Alucard.
Yeah, obviously. God,
but
fucking Bloodlines having wrong color hair.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Mm-hmm. It really pisses me off. Like, I'm never gonna not be pissed off about that. Basically,
what that the artwork had different.
That the artwork is blonde, and then in game
he has like blue hair or whatever. Yeah, I can never tell like what his hair color was originally supposed to be. Was it supposed to be blue? Because I mean, Eric Lukkash in Portrait of Ruin had like a bluish tint hair as well.
Yeah, but that was like 2 decades later.
Yeah,
trying to figure things out.
They're like, wait, what did we do?
Make him a ghost, then we just don't know.
But yeah, this.
That's a good point. His hair's like blue because he's a ghost, Jay.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I love. Like the way Trevor looks, I love the way Dracula looks. Fucking Alucard looks like he just stepped right out of Symphony of the Night. I like the way Trevor looks. Like I mentioned this to you, like when we first saw this, that Trevor looks very kind of like this middle of the road between Ayami Kojima's design and fucking the Castlevania Judgment design, the Death Note dude's design, Takeshi Obata. Yeah. So it's a nice middle ground between those two designs. And I think it's probably the best Trevor design I've seen, or at least the one I like the most.
What did Trevor look like in the Judgment?
Because
I remember what Simon looked like.
Okay, imagine Simon. Yeah, like you know how like Simon had that suit. Basically, Trevor's suit was similar to it, except it covered his like his entire arms and his full. He had like full leg pants.
Yeah,
he was like, had like belts and straps. There you go.
It reminds me a lot of, I think it is really close to the Curse of Darkness design too. Like,
yeah. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a nice middle ground. Plus, you see how he has like that more masculine jawline. So yeah, like I feel like, you know, like what they went for with Trevor in this was a nice middle ground, and I really appreciate that this game just, you know, it pulls a lot of elements to really be faithful to Castlevania lore. Oddly enough, like even like the year that this series is taking place in is the year that Dracula's Curse takes place.
Huh.
Yeah. That's
nice.
Spot on.
Yeah. They really did their homework. Like
maybe one day we'll get a Richter animated series.
I'm really hoping that they keep going with this, and we do get like a Simon's Quest anime, and like a, you know, just keep going.
I mean,
that'd be great. I said anime. Fucking kill me.
Yeah,
right.
I'll do it after we finish recording. Rondo of Blood is definitely more ripe to do a series of not an anime than Simon's.
I feel like they could probably skip Simon. No one would care.
Yeah, I mean, I think people would care because he's the original Belmont.
Yeah, well, fuck them. They're probably just the guys on fucking Judgment.
But thing is, though,
Castlevania Dungeon.
Like I would say like this, like that, like Castlevania 3 has such a bare bones story, and they're already making this big epic thing.
Yeah, but they have
a
big world. Like it has a lot of characters, and that's what works for Rondo of Blood too. Yeah. You know, it's got Richter, Maria, it's got Death, it's got And like Death is an intro
And
character.
it actually has Richter's wife too.
Yeah,
Richter,
Marie, or is it Anna?
Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're thinking of like Maria Renard.
Oh well, there were 3 women you can save in Rondo of Blood.
Oh yeah, the 3 women you can save.
Yeah, Rondo of Blood.
Yeah, because it's like there's 4 total counting Maria.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's like 2 rando females. Richter's girlfriend.
I'm an innocent little
Anime girl.
little church lady. Thank you for saving me. However, can I repay you?
Well, you're a prostitute, aren't you?
Why am I not doing Rondo of Blood of Rage?
I don't know. We have all these right
Because-
frames.
Because you fail at being a human being, Dan. That's all there is to this.
To bring it back to something I actually didn't like about the show.
Okay.
I feel like Trevor's voice, when he's trying to be like drunkard, it is very drunkard, it is very accurate, but it also, as we touched on before, that makes it really hard to understand what he's saying. And I feel like that really detracts from it. Like his performance early on where he's doing the drunkard thing a lot. Like it gets a lot better when he starts talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he's doing the drunkard voice, it is kind of frustrating, like trying to hear through his mumbles and...
Yeah. I mean, his drunken yammerings that I really appreciate. Like one of my favorite lines ever in Castlevania now was just, I'm Trevor fucking Belmont. I've never lost a fight to man or fucking beast. And I'm like...
And he gets decked in the goddamn face because he's drunk as shit.
Yeah,
Right?
like that was... Because I remember seeing that, I'm like, oh my god. I think like that just topped my other favorite line from Castlevania, which is... What was it, Jonathan Morris? Jonathan Morris saying,
I may not be able to use the whip, but I could sure kick your ass.
Yeah, that was just him giving Death the finger. That was some great shit.
It was really good. It was really, really goddamn good.
Yeah, so like that totally topped that line. And then he tops that line, I feel, by going, it's like, a Cyclops, right out of the Belmont Bestiary. God shits in my dinner again.
Yeah, see, I couldn't fucking hear that line on my goddamn headphones. I only experienced that line through you posting the caption on Twitter. And I'm like,
wow.
Oh, that's what he said at that point. Because I tried to keep track of it and I couldn't.
That was another very mumbly line.
That's mixing.
It is.
They fucked that up
Yeah.
really hard.
So as a kind of like, nitpicky Castlevania fanboy shit, there are 2 things that bugged me. One, Trevor already has his scar because in Castlevania lore, he gets that scar fighting Dracula.
Okay.
That's just like I said, very nitpicky. That's also the other one being Grant the Nasty hasn't shown up, and I'm pretty sure Grant showed up before Sypha in the games.
Yes, but I'm really glad they didn't spend 4 episodes going up a clock tower.
Right.
I did like the clock tower homage.
Yeah. That stuff was in there.
That was
just
good.
In the whole thought of, oh yeah, no, Dracula's castle's like this because he knows alchemy and like real science stuff too.
Yeah,
He's
so
a Renaissance man.
God, I can't believe like Warren Ellis shows up to this shit, knows dick all about Castlevania, looks at what like the established Castlevania lore and goes, yeah, I can make a functional story out of this, and then does it. Like, this is like the best video game adaptation property I've seen.
Yeah.
And I feel like that isn't like hyperbole. That isn't just like me being a fanboy. That is just like, no, this is this concept done right finally.
Okay, so I finally looked it up. It's Sarah, Iris, Annette, and Maria.
Okay.
I spent this entire time trying to find that.
Is Des being a real like character? The first time that happens is that in Rondo?
Well, he has literal voice lines.
Right. And that's what
generally
I mean. He's
Castlevania,
I know he's
he
just
shows
a regular
up
boss.
in the last like 4 bosses, last 3
Right.
bosses, generally speaking. But in this one, he just greets you. So I feel like, yeah, that's a definitive point for me. Because in Castlevania 4, it's also in the last few bosses.
Right, and he obviously doesn't say anything because that was not something they did in
Right.
Castlevanias like that.
I mean,
I wonder,
I'm trying to remember if anyone says anything in 4. They do on the port of Rondo of Blood, XX.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how this series is going to portray Death.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if he'll show up.
I feel like he has to.
I feel like
too
he's the
integral.
focus of the second movie.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be really cool. Get Grant and Nasty and some fucking death in there.
Yeah, that'd be a reason to climb the clock
satisfied.
tower.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Satisfied and good.
And then the third movie's worth of story would just, like, the last 4 episodes would just be, let's go fuck up Dracula.
And the problem is that the prophecy never once mentioned Grant and Nasty, if you notice, because they mentioned the prophecy involved Dampier and...
That's true.
What's up?
The speakers reference a prophecy right at the end where obviously Trevor Belmont, Sifa, and Alucard are going to team up to beat Dracula. There's no reference of a 4th member, and they multiple times bring it up, and it's 3.
Huh.
Yep. So...
Oh, man, I'd be really disappointed if Grant doesn't show up.
if you were to cut someone, it would be Grant.
Right, but I just...
So,
he's still...
I don't know how you write a good story for him. I was a pirate, and then the evil Dracula made me a bloated pirate.
I mean, the thing is, though, he doesn't really need to be anything more complicated. I mean, hell, he doesn't need to be part of the legend. He could just be the guy that they find, and he's the comic relief, like, asshole pirate dude who wants to fuck Seifa, and that's it.
And, okay, so, 1, that's awful. 2, and more importantly, do you think he throws knives, or does he stab?
He's got stab dudes.
I'd like to see him throw some knives.
Does he crawl all over shit?
He's got it.
Of course.
He's got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Can he leap 15 feet in the air?
They might go for it like once.
Now, thing is, though,
Okay.
will he be a mummy zombie?
I hope
doubt
not.
it. Then again, that depends. Will Adi Shankar still be involved? Because that's pretty edgelord.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I feel this guy would do, and I'm pretty sure he is still tied to this project, because I think he was the one that was talking about there being a second season with 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I hope this franchise just keeps going. Like, Netflix just keeps ordering more episodes and they just keep adapting more games, because there's so much Castlevania and there's such an expansive lore.
I mean, getting to Castlevania 1999 would be pretty amazing.
That would be fucking rad as shit if we actually just...
I don't think they're going to get to do it.
No, they're probably not.
I mean, probably not, but we can hold hope alive.
I mean...
And this series apparently did really well. I mean, it was even trending on Twitter. Like, I think it got, like hashtag Castlevania Netflix was, like, in the top 3 of the trending for, like, a good 3 hours.
So that's good. Man,
Maybe
I don't know.
Enough of this.
Uh-huh.
Konami will be like, maybe we should make a Castlevania game.
Right? I'm wondering if that's going to be a thing. Like,
I
at very
think,
least
honestly,
it's a
they
fucking
did say a few, like, I think it was a few months ago that, hey, we get that there's a demand for this, but we're not going to say anything.
Yeah. And...
I don't even know in this day and age who you get to make a Castlevania game.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's not like Konami has a staff anymore. I don't know. What the hell's the Bomberman art team doing
What
now?
are you talking about, Zeon? They clearly have a staff. They keep them, like, in a dungeon.
Who else is turning the wheelhouse?
Right?
Asta!
Fuck Konami.
Yeah, fuck Konami. What was it? The Dietz brothers, who Sam Dietz is the director, and the other Dietz is one of the other guys. They're trying to get Wall Chicken worked into this. They keep trying to write it in. They've been trying for weeks.
I heard something about them trying to get Wall Chicken in there.
That's so good.
Yeah. Honestly, I could see Warren Ellis writing that, because, like, for people who don't have context for this guy writes weird, off-the-wall, really edgy comic books. And when I say edgy, I don't mean like
He doesn't mean Adi Shankar.
Yeah, not that kind of edgy, but just, like, very vulgar, usually kind of very thought-provoking works as well. Like, the way I got introduced to him was the comic Transmetropolitan, which is my favorite comic of all time. And the mere fact, like, when I heard that he was attached to this, I was like, I don't know if he knows anything about Castlevania, but I'm at least interested.
Right, because, like, at the end of the day, the reason why I'm okay with there not being Castlevania remixes and a lot of other things, like, they could not have Grant and Nasty by the end of this, and I would be okay with that. I just want a really good, well-made story.
Yeah.
Like, Lament of Innocence.
If adding Grant ruins it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, it would be nice, but as long as the series is good, because I mean, like they can take all the liberties they want, as long as it's just a really good series that feels like Castlevania to me. That's all I give a shit. And oh my god, what horrible fan art have you stumbled across?
That's not fan art. That is from the official NES Game Atlas, and I'm looking at it on wikia.com. And this is the Castlevania part in there. where they talk about Castlevania. I own this book. I don't know where it went.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It looks like that.
Oh man,
Oh,
I
that
had
book.
that thing too.
Yeah, my uncle owned that.
It was a pretty huge thing back then.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty brilliant idea. Why don't we make a giant strategy guide for all these games and
It'd be
sell
cool.
it for a decent amount of cash?
It'd be cool.
It would be cool. I miss strategy guides. Like, I hate that they didn't make the transition to digital very well, because then it just became a bunch of YouTubers will upload disparate, separate clips of what exactly you need, and I'm like, I would like an app.
Yeah, things could be a lot better. I mean, I've been going for Game Facts for so long, but it feels like the hardcore group of people who used to make FAQs on there and really go in depth on it has dwindled over the years.
Oh yeah, definitely. It stopped being cool at some point, and it started being YouTube videos. So it's kind of the same thing as the strategy guides, where it's really just how you going to make a YouTube video out of this.
Yeah.
Which I don't feel like a YouTube video captures the production and class of a strategy guide.
Well, the
where
thing
you
is,
get
though,
art from cover to cover, and there's a lot of context.
Yeah, I mean, they still make them for some things. It's just, it has...
Oh yeah, no, strategy guides still exist.
Right.
Just, it should have become something greater.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
it should have become like a really cool ebook or something like that.
They do actually release ebooks for a ton of them now. I don't know if they're good. I honestly just...
No idea,
because Prima has their own, like, service. You can even just walk in a store and buy literal credits to use on their website to buy strategy guides there.
That's neat.
Yeah. That's actually cool, oddly enough.
But getting this back to what we were talking about, which is supposed to be the Castlevania Netflix series. Hey guys,
Yeah.
I feel like we've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, because it's something that we're genuinely passionate about, and we didn't watch some horrible garbage that we bitched about for 30 minutes and then called it a day.
Would you, Bob, recommend the Castlevania Netflix series? It's a huge cost, I know. The hour and 20 minutes one might lose watching it.
Oh yeah, no, it's real good. You should watch it.
Hail Zeon.
I'm definitely on Bob's side with this one. It's just, it's 4 episodes long. Like you're losing absolutely nothing watching this, and yeah, it's.
I mean,
it's
if that first episode
rad.
doesn't hook you, then I don't know.
Yeah, I was say if the first episode doesn't
Then you're
hook
dead
you,
inside.
Right?
Yeah, I was say because the first episode's like a lot of really good shit in there. The second episode is the worst of the 4, but then like episodes 3 and 4 are fucking fantastic as well. And
But
World
episode 2 is
End.
interesting because of
What
the
do
way
you
it does
do
world
at the
building.
end?
oh yeah, it's a lot of world building stuff. But if you're not interested
I
in the
think
world
that
building,
helps.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Episode 1 showed the Drac. You
Yeah.
can't show the Drac. You gotta hide the Drac and
Yeah.
then show the Drac, and then you got the Mystique.
Yeah.
So when Mystique and Cyclops show up with the
God damn
Drac,
you beat me to the X-Men joke, you motherfucker.
beat you two. That was my joke,
Ah.
you piece of shit. Sitting there ready to pounce on it.
Yeah, I was waiting.
That was my setup for my joke, you fucking hack.
Okay, fine. It was a
Right,
really
Bolster sitting
unoriginal
over
joke, and we all just assumed
Oh,
you heard
okay.
the
Oh,
speech.
okay. Since I made a joke for me, I set up my own joke. You're like, it's unoriginal.
Well, no, because we all saw the punchline coming, and we all wanted to make it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch all of Hail Zeon's reviews, see what else he's ripping off of me, because this guy's a total fucking hack. Complete fucking hack.
I don't know. Do you have like a patent on autistic screeching yet?
Yes.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, that was called The Rant Is Go.
Shit.
Thanks for listening to this episode of WeeaBoots. Go check out our video game coverage on Gigaboots.com or on YouTube, and consider becoming a patron. Jay is Hail Zeon on YouTube, and our theme song is Android by Lukkash. Go check out more music by Lukkash at www.lukkash.com.
Somersault!
Next WeeaBoots pick! Gigaboots has been brought to you by the remarkable generosity of Nicholas Cameron and Vincent Pover. And Cywolf. Go to patreon.com/Gigaboots and support Gigaboots today.